guys, what's going on? Darren here, and welcome back to the F122 My Team Career Mode. And this time, we're at the Marina Bay for the Singapore Grand Prix. If you haven't checked out the last video, go back, go check it out. The Italian Grand Prix was a fantastic video, and that is absolutely worth your time and going back and checking out. But now, here we are at the Singapore Grand Prix, and we're going to do the rival... sorry, we're not going to do the rival duel. We are going to do the gate challenge one, because we haven't done this one really for a while for the Pirelli hot laps. And I thought, you know what, we're going to go do this one for a change. We normally do the rival duel simply because the rival duel is by far the easiest one. And we haven't done this challenge, I think, since the Miami Grand Prix, I think. And I failed absolutely miserably at it. But I think that's more just because I hated the Miami circuit. I'm not a fan of it. But this time when I did it here at Singapore, I know Singapore a lot better than I do Miami, so it went a hell of a lot better than the last time. And I just want to say, guys, very quickly, thank you all so much, for everything that's been happening recently. I recently, at the time of recording this, crossed past 110 subscribers, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but for me as a small YouTuber, 100 subscribers was insane. And then literally a day later to get to 110. Yeah, that was absolutely excellent. So guys, thank you all so much. And if you could please do drop a comment down below. Do leave a like, and if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel for more content, because I do read every comment, I do look at every like, and I do respond to every single comment as well. So I really do appreciate all the love and support that you guys have been giving me. Yeah, as a small YouTuber, getting all of that, it just means so much to me. So thank you all so much for that. And yeah, that's going to be the last time I say that, I think. Probably until the end of the video. Anyway, here we are now at qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix. One of the most important qualifying sessions of the season. It's very difficult to overtake at this racetrack. And so qualifying is very important, much like at Hungary. And much like, of course, at Monaco as well. Monaco probably being the most important qualifying session of the season. I would probably say this is the second most important one, and Budapest is the third most important qualifying session of the season. So for us, it is vitally important that we can actually get out of qualifying one and try and get this Pulse Motorsport car into Q2. Now, of course, we are at the point of the season where there are penalties coming for a lot of cars. So if we can get into Q2, probably no matter where we start, we may even be in the top 10. And that will be absolutely insane. So for us, this qualifying run is just about getting it into Q2. And you can see currently we are in P12. But not only are we in P12, we're actually 2 tenths down. Or maybe more like 3 tenths down on our previous lap. But thankfully it is all in Sector 3 where we make up the time. Singapore has huge track elevation changes. And the track just gets so much faster as the lap goes on. And here in Q1, we really struggled first time around in Sector 3. But thankfully, second time around in Sector 3, we have a much better run of it. And we've made up that 2 tenths deficit. And not only we've made up that 2 tenths deficit, we've actually gained 2 tenths. So it's a 4 tenth improvement in Sector 3. And that sees us in P12 and through to qualifying 2 for the first time this season. We are in to Q2 for the first time since the Austrian Grand Prix, I should say. But of course in Austria, we got through thanks to the rain. You can see here in Q2, we're currently 1.5 seconds up on our first lap. But our first lap was pretty poor. We did it on an old set of tyres. But this is on a fresh set. And we go up and we qualify in P15 for the Singapore Grand Prix. Let's see what that happens for the race.
Go then, it's Formula One in Marina Bay once again, and welcome to you all at home who join us today for this fascinating race around the baking hot but beautiful streets of Singapore. It's a 3.1 mile lap here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit with 47% taken at full throttle. It's hot, humid and bumpy around the 13 lefts and 10 rights of mostly slow corners. But we should see speeds of up to 200 miles per hour along the Raffles Boulevard. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen, and Fernando Alonso. Bottas, Norris, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Hamilton and George Russell, they've taken a grid penalty. Mick Schumacher, Bennett, Alex Albon, and Gasly. Tsunoda, Stroll, Sebastian Vettel, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Nicholas Latifi, Magnussen, Ocon, Teo Pourchaire, and Guan Yu Zhou. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And with me today, of course, is Natalie Pinkham. Let's start with the new Alfa Romeo driver. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
So it's time now for the Singapore Grand Prix, and we are starting the race in P12. Now I need to say this because I didn't really show it, but Pierre Gasly behind us and Carlos Sainz in front of us is starting the Grand Prix on the soft compound tyres. And not only is that important, but we have rain coming at some point in this Singapore Grand Prix. When will it come? We don't know. We're going to have to wait and find out as it's lights out and away we go. And we get off to a very good start. Pierre Gasly just gets past us at off the launch, but that's because he did start on the soft compound tyres. Into turn 1 though, we were able to get down the inside past Mick Schumacher, and that sees us up into P11 here at Singapore. One more place and we are in the points. Can we do anything about Lando Norris or George Russell ahead of us? Nah, it doesn't look like we can. We are running heavy downforce here at Singapore. We are running 50-50 wings. Not just because the rain is coming, but because we want all the downforce that we can possibly muster on this Pulse Motorsport car. And because of that though, we are very slow in a straight line, and that means that Lando Norris there, he's able to get ahead away from us, and we can't really do much about it. But through the corners, it should pay dividends for us, especially when the rain does come later on in the race. Well, that's the theory anyway. We hope it does. We'll have to wait and find out and see if it does actually work out for us. But here we go now into the left-hander, and you can see that we're closing up now to the back of Norris. As I said, through these slower corners with that extra wing that we've got, we are much better on the brakes and in the corners than the cars ahead of us, and that's really going to be helping us out in this Grand Prix, I think. Another thing what we're planning on doing is, because the rain is coming in this race, we're just going to try and stay out. We're going to stay out for as long as possible and hopefully stay out until the rain comes. But we are, of course, hoping that it does come after the cars on mediums pit. The cars on soft are obviously going to pit before the rain comes, but we're just hoping that the cars on mediums ahead of us can also box before the rain does come. If that does happen, we are in for a good race. Max Verstappen is out as we go to lap number 6 of the Singapore Grand Prix. His car has broken down, and, well, as I said at the last race in Italy, Charles Leclerc not scoring points gave Verstappen a slight hope that he could be back in this championship fight. But with him breaking down, it's now surely game over, especially with Charles Leclerc having a huge lead here at Singapore, especially as Carlos Sainz now dives into the pits to get off those soft compound tyres, and he goes on to a set of the medium tyres. So Carlos Sainz, he's going to be looking to box again if the rain does not come in this Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas now dives into the pits, and that puts us up to P8 in this Singapore Grand Prix. And we go a lap later now, and look at this, Alonso's in the pits as well. So there goes Alonso, that is us up now to P7, and there's Hamilton, so that's P6. And can we get Ricciardo for P5? Yes, we can. We are now up to P5 here at Singapore, and we just now need to keep it out, keep it on track, and keep it out of the wall until this rain comes. And we are in a great position, I think, to score some really strong points here at Singapore. And you can see there's Ricciardo. He's going to be looking for a move to get past Mick Schumacher, and he's going to go for a move on us as well. Can he make it stick? No, he can't. He had to back out of it, and Schumacher there getting back past Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo went for a bit of a daft lunge there. I did not work out for him. He went a little bit too quick, I think, on those hard tyres, not having the grip really to be able to make it stick. And Ricciardo now loses out of position to Mick Schumacher as goes to the start of lap 16. And there we go past Lando Norris, and that is us now up into P4 here in Singapore. It is working very nicely, and we are just behind George Russell. And if we can get Russell, that see us on the podium, for goodness sakes. So a podium is possible here at Singapore if we can make it stick and get past Russell. But you can see behind us here we've got Hamilton and Ricciardo. They are squabbling really hard, and they're really going for it here. And Ricciardo's going for it on Hamilton, and not only is he going for it on me, he went for a move to try and get past me as well as Lewis Hamilton, but he couldn't make it stick, and instead of that he lost out a position to Lewis Hamilton as he got to lap 18. And look at the gap. Look at the gap George Russell has been able to build. It's a 10-second gap now from us to George Russell, and yeah, that is fully down to the fact that these medium tyres have run out of grip. They've just dropped off the cliff. They're off the cliff of grip, and we are really struggling now on these mediums. And Lewis Hamilton is all over the back of our Pulse Motorsport car. We've got no pace at all, and Lewis Hamilton, he's running to the back of us. Hamilton hits us, and Lewis Hamilton is out of the Singapore Grand Prix. What happened there? Let's go take a look. Lewis Hamilton on these hard compound tyres with much more grip than us on the mediums. I think he just underestimated how slow we were, and he has just absolutely smashed into the back of us, and Lewis Hamilton is out of the Singapore Grand Prix, and the safety car has been deployed. Now the question is what are we going to do? Are we going to stay out, or are we going to box? Well, I was contemplating just staying out. However, I saw how slow we were, and I was just thinking, I can't imagine us being able to, when the race restarts, be able to do anything. So with that in mind, I decided, you know what, we're going to box in. We're going to take a gamble. We're going to box in. We're going to get on a set of soft compound tyres and hope that the rain comes in like the next few laps. Because if the rain comes in a couple of laps, then these soft tyres, which have a very short shelf life, will be able to get the absolute maximum out of these soft tyres. But it needs to be a good stop by the Pulse Motorsport boys. And it's not a good stop. Bit of a disastrous stop there. A 4.7 second stop. We lose 2 seconds. And losing those 2 seconds there means that I think we lost out to Kevin Magnussen as well. And yeah, it was a slow stop from the boys. It can't all be perfect. That's the first bad stop we've had for a very, very long time, though, it has to be said. So, bit of a shame that that happened. But we carry on from here as the race gets back underway. And we look for a move there around the outside of Kevin Magnussen. It's going to turn to the inside for the right-hander. Can we make it stick on Kevin Magnussen? Yes, we can. Through we go up to P14. And that is the advantage that I'm talking about on these soft compound tyres. We have a huge, huge speed advantage now. We've got these fresh soft tyres. We can absolutely utilize them to their full extent. And the rain is going to be coming in a couple of laps time, we've been told, by the way. So this is perfect for us, because these softs are only going to be good for about 2 laps. So we're going to make the most of these 2 laps that we've got on these softs. And we're going to go for a move now down the inside of Yuki Tsunoda. Can we make it stick? Yes, we can. Through past Tsunoda. That is us now up to P13. Next up is Sebastian Vettel, because I think Carlos Sainz is on fresh hard tyres, so he should probably be able to get past Sebastian Vettel pretty quickly as we got to lap 23 now. What actually happened, I think, was Carlos Sainz had contact with Sebastian Vettel and had to dive into the pit, so that saw us up to P12. I can see now we've got to lap 23 and look at the screen. The rain is starting to fall now here at Singapore, and that is absolutely lovely for us. The rain is now falling, and with that we are probably going to be very quickly into the pits for intermediate compound tyres. I honestly don't think if we stayed out on mediums that we would have been able to keep these guys behind. The mediums were falling off at a rapid rate of knots, and I do think if we stayed out, yeah, there just wouldn't have been any grip left on those intermediates. 23 laps on a set of intermediates is just, yeah, it's a bit much. So I think boxing was the right move. Look at that, we got no grip. The rain here at Singapore, just like in real life, came down very, very heavily and very, very quickly too. And yeah, we just had no grip at all. So into the pits we go for a set of intermediates. And it's a good stop from Pulse Motorsport. It's a better stop than the first one, thankfully. But just not enough to get us out ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. But even with that in mind, we're much closer to Tsunoda than we were before. So maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance we can get past Tsunoda. But we have recently been pretty terrible in the wets. And even with 50-50 wings, once again, we're pretty slow in the wet. Yeah, we're struggling for pace in the wet. And yeah, it just doesn't work for us in the wets. I need to get better at driving in the rain. You can see we go up to P11 as a lot of people who stayed out one extra lap. Yeah, they really struggled. But yeah, you can see nothing really happened here in the intermediate stages. And it's P11 for us at Singapore as Charles Leclerc wins the Singapore Grand Prix.
Singapore, but they've done so with some style here today to take a remarkable victory. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they have a car that comes alive in the conditions that we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is the drivers have confidence to attack. Having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, gets you on the brakes later, and can put you a long way up the road.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
So, Charles Leclerc makes up for retirement in Monza by winning the Singapore Grand Prix, and with Max Verstappen DNFing from the race, it's pretty much the same as it was before the Italian Grand Prix. Back up to 108 points, I think it was, between Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc at the top of the championship. And with only, 5 rounds left to go, it's fair to say that this championship is all but over now. And Charles Leclerc will be the world champion. So Charles Leclerc wins the Grand Prix from Sergio Perez in 2nd place. George Russell is 3rd. Daniel Ricciardo in 4th. Bottas in 5th. Alonso 6th. Albon in 7th. Lance Stroll finishes 8th. Mick Schumacher 9th. And Yuki Tsunoda rounds up the top 10, with us finishing a brilliant 11th place. So only 2 drivers did not finish the Grand Prix. That was Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Of course, Hamilton creamed into the back of our car, and that is why he did not finish the Grand Prix. In the championship standings, as I was saying, Charles Leclerc has a 109 points, so not a 108 points, but a 109 point lead in the Drivers' Championship from Max Verstappen in 2nd place. We are still up in P11, and I just want to say, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you again soon for the Japanese Grand Prix. So as always, comment, leave a like, and if you aren't already, of course, subscribe to the channel for more F1 content. Thanks for watching, guys.
Okay, we've had the new
Bye.
through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next